You expect so much more from a Portuguese side that is filled with creative, attacking-minded players that can read spaces so well, can play off of each other because they have so much familiarity. But when you're all pigeonholed into one game plan of find Cristiano Ronaldo and you don't find him, that's when they got stuck. And they looked like they just hit a wall at times creatively in what Portugal wanted to do moving forward.
Now, JD, Ronaldo has been struggling for several games now to be able to find a goal in the back of the net for Portugal. It's now 10 consecutive games and major tournaments where he hasn't been able to score for them. And it's not just us as pundits that see the issues that Ronaldo is having. It's also the teams that are facing off against Portugal, even going as far as to say that they're not really preparing. They are preparing to face off against Ronaldo, but they know that he's not the same guy as he was before. Here's a look at what one of DR Congo's midfielders had to say. And Gabriel Mukau spoke about if the team prepared differently to face Ronaldo and said, to be honest, not really, because we knew that he's not the same as before. He's a bit older now, but he's still one of the greatest to ever play the game. So we have much respect for him. So all of this being said, do you think Roberto Martinez needs to bench Ronaldo for Portugal to be successful?
Your my honest opinion, after reading that quote, I'd actually start him again. You want to know why? Because one thing I've realized about athletes that are the 1% of the 1%, like a Cristiano Ronaldo, like a LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, you don't need to give them any motivation. If I'm Ronaldo, I would have read that quote and understood that the whole world is sleeping on me right now. Like I'm not the greatest goal scorer of a generation.
You don't
I'm not
think
arguably the greatest
for the past 4 years, the last World Cup?
Like I'm not the greatest goal scorer of a generation. Like I haven't scored almost 1,000 career goals. Like we can talk about all you want about like whether or not he's this player now or what he isn't. What you need is a manager that's going to understand how to play to his strengths. Like he isn't the most dynamic. He isn't going to run your channels anymore. He isn't going to press with the same level of, to be honest, he was never really a presser full stop, if we're being honest. But at the same time,
he was a dribbler. He was a player that would stretch it back lines.
What we know now is I can trust him in between the sticks. When I say that, I'm talking about anything around the 18-yard box. I need to be able to find places where I can put him in positions to be successful. So, yeah, we can bring up as many stats as you want, the shortcomings and all the rest of it. But I'll tell you what Portugal look like they lack more than anything, pace. They don't look like they have anything that's going to threaten behind, which allows defenders to squeeze the game, which doesn't allow him to then be successful. You have to add a new dynamic, someone that's going to be able to go in behind, someone that's going to add some fear that makes...
Leao's the only option that you have for someone who can stretch the back line.
It's going to make me... When defenders are concerned about what's going behind them, and this is someone who played defense, right? When you're talking about I'm fair about what's coming behind me, it makes me automatically take a half a step back, 2 yard step back, because I have to respect that there's somebody in behind that could beat me, and all of a sudden my game is gone out the window. Like Cristiano is maybe not that player anymore, but he is still arguably the best finisher in this competition. He doesn't need many opportunities, half a yard to turn around and get a goal. I'm not worried about all of these previous stats because you don't score 970 odd goals in your professional career unless you know how to find the back of the net. And so I don't think that skill set has been lost. I don't think anybody's sitting there questioning whether or not that skill set has been diminished. What needs to happen now is Roberto Martinez needs to be brave in making a selection that's going to position Cristiano to be successful. Your midfield trio, as you said, I think is the best in the competition. The three in the middle. So we need to now look at the wing positions and ask ourselves, what's Neto and whoever else is going to be on the opposite side going to do? Because Bernardo is not going to run in behind you. Let's just be honest about it. And if him and Bruno swap, Bruno's not going to run in behind you either, which isn't allowing him to be successful. So he's going to be your focal point. He's going to be your captain. He's going to be your goal scorer.
You have fullbacks like Nuno Mendes who can get in behind you.
You need players that's going to be able to do that. Go in behind and create overload so that it makes defenders get stretched out of position. When defenders get stretched out of position, then Cristiano around the 18-yard box can work half a yard here and work half a yard there and get you as many goals in this competition as possible.
I'm with you, JD, on the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo is a one of one, where he can create magic in a moment after he does nothing for 89 minutes. All he needs is one chance, and he could have changed the game. But that wasn't the case. Roberto Martinez didn't make any changes. Ronaldo played 90 minutes. I'm with you. I do think you start Cristiano Ronaldo in this second match because he's probably pissed off and he wants to score and he wants to contribute. But you're talking about all these other changes around Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you expect Roberto Martinez to even make any of those changes?
Yeah, he has to. And he also has a free hit, which Chuck D brought up in our production meeting beforehand, which is the fact that I know I'm not continuing this job after this. I can now have fun with these squads. Because at the end of the day, for this next, however long this competition lasts, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, how many games, I know to myself, I'm just going to put the best position to make sure my team is successful. He hasn't got to worry about the politics afterwards. He hasn't got to worry about any backlash afterwards. He hasn't got to worry about any media questions. At the end of the day, after this tournament, I'm done anyway. So if he's wise and he cares about his career and what he wants to do going forward, be brave. I wouldn't take Cristiano Ronaldo out. And I mean this wholeheartedly because he is still the most clinical goal scorer that they have. But you can be brave in making the adjustments around him so that he can be in better positions to be successful because he is still a person that showed for the ball 40-odd times yesterday. Showed and told his team, hey, I'm available, and was only fed that less than 20% of the time. So we can ask the questions about whether or not it's Cristiano's fault and whether or not he's scoring the goals and all the rest of it. But is his team doing the best to make sure that he's successful?
You think it's better to make multiple changes around him than to just change him out?
You change him out, you lose that whole change.
Well, let me interject here. Is he's better than Gonzalo Ramos?
Facts.
Now, regardless, so you'd be changing him for a striker that's not as good as Cristiano Ronaldo, anyways. And if Gonzalo Ramos played, he'd still have the same, if not worse, of what Cristiano Ronaldo gave you yesterday. So the issue isn't necessarily the goal scorer or Cristiano Ronaldo. It's how the team played, and they were catering to try and play to Cristiano Ronaldo in a certain way. He needs chances. So Bruno Fernandes has to generate.
All the blame on Cristiano Ronaldo. There was a chance towards the end of the game. He should have let it go.
100%. But you can't, at the same time.
Ronaldo at that point is like, I haven't scored. I haven't had touches. I need to score.
You're talking about the cutback.
That's a selfish moment.
The one right in front of the goal.
Yes.
I'm talking about the cutback.
Yeah, he
You're talking
was
about the byline, they couldn't cut
he
back.
needs to let that go.
Yeah, sure.
That's between the ears. That's
In hindsight, sure. But you're talking about one of the greatest goal scorers in the history of the game.
Facts.
He's in that reason. He's gotten to that position because of his selfishness. So you can't tell me all of a sudden, hey, take that selfishness off. Now, I get it. In moments, you got to make the right decision. The best decision, because of the angle that he was approaching that ball, would be to let it go for Bruno Fernandes. But I also can't fault him because he's selfish for that reason.
Yeah, because he's telling you straight as a forward, he knows. At the end of the day, once he gets to the box, that's my job. That's my turn to shine. That's my turn to show value as to why they've turned around and selected me. So I understand as to what his mentality was. But I also will question mark. And none of us are on the pitch, so I couldn't hear it. If we were there, pitch side, I would have told you. But did Bruno scream for the ball? And that's the question mark you have to ask yourself. If the rest of these players,
right now, he did.
If he screamed for the ball, then Cristiano's wrong, right? And Cristiano has to hold his hands up in that position and say he's wrong. But if Bruno Fernandes didn't turn around and scream and say Bruno's incoming or whatever else it is in terms of communication, then how am I supposed to know you're there?
I do have there's lots of comments. People are loving this conversation. One comment is saying that it is Ronaldo's fault. He has Bruno Fernandes, Nuno Mendes, and others to supply him and refuses to run.
Refuses to run? He's 41 years old. So you know if you're selecting a 41-year-old, if I put LeBron James on the floor, am I expecting LeBron James to go up and down like this? Am I expecting Tiger Woods to be as consistent as ever? Am I expecting Rafael Nadal, if he was still playing today, to be running up and down the clay? No. What happens with these level of athletes is they start thinking the game higher than everybody else. So you have to put people around him that's going to do the physicality.
And that's why I've said it was Roberto Martinez.
It's Roberto Martinez's fault.
Because if you decide to play Cristiano, you also have to know he's not making those runs. He's not doing what Harry Kane does. He's not dropping down into the midfield to create space. He's your exclamation point. So you have to provide service to get the best out of Cristiano Ronaldo. And if the service is too predictable, which it was, it's very easy for the Congolese defenders to say, hey, go ahead. We know what's coming. We have our two guys here to mark Cristiano. He wasn't moving outside of a 5-yard radius. So it's easy to defend versus late runs out of midfield. Nuno Mendes and Cancelo coming inside, generating different types of chances, shots from distance. It was a poor attacking
I know you really want to go to break, and I promise you I'll shut up at another segment so you can get your 30 seconds back. But I will just tell you this. You don't score 140 goals for your nation unless you know how to find the back of the net.
Yeah.
End of discussion. So at the end of the day, I need a manager that's going to be able to put him in a position where he can be successful so he can do his job. Because his only job when he goes on that pitch is to score goals. That's the rest of it. We'll work it out, man. We'll work it out.
Can we just give a quick little love to DR Congo, though, for being able to get this job done?
Huge for them. I mean, it's awesome. Great performance.
No question marks whatsoever. I already knew.
My former teammate is Cedric Bakambu. And to see him still running the channels and leading his country, him and Johan Visa make a great partnership up top. It's phenomenal. So I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of Congo, how they've represented the
massive
There's no
result.
shock, though. If you watch them in AFCON,